Okay, great afternoon. Well, I'm going to use the galactic symbols and the oneness tarot. And I want to ask about the big split that's happening. You know, those that are wanting to expand their consciousness, come into more of the light, more of the compassion. Okay. Doing that path versus those that are walking the way of shadows. Ego, self-aggrandizement, shadows, etc. So what can you tell me about the split? What's taking place? Now, some are going to go forward to the fifth dimension and some are going to stay back in the third. Okay? The choice. And it's just based on consciousness, where your consciousness is at. So let's see what the cards have to say. So the reading is about, first thing out, inspiration of swords. So this is the mind. Where is your inspiration? Okay, the mind. Okay, the consciousness, the information, the inspiration. What is it you're putting out there? Are you putting out more positivity, or are you, again, looking for something more drama-filled, hate-filled, divisionary? So what's coming in from the past is, again, Six of Cups. So what's coming in is from the past. So what are you willing to do with that? Inspiration. Above it, the sorrow. And the foundation is about transformation. So are you willing to transform things, or are you going to stay stuck in that same dynamic and just kick against the goads and rail and etc. without being willing to release and move forward? So what's going on now with the energy? Ace of Cups. So new things are coming in when it comes to the realm of emotion, etc. With the challenge being Eight of Pentacles, what's being worked on realistically. Okay, so the new cup, what is being worked on in a realistic way. Above it, rejuvenation. And the foundation is prosperity. Okay, so really, are you looking at things in an emotional way of prosperity, of something beneficial? Okay, even the difficult things can wind up being beneficial if you look and find out where the root of it's coming from. Okay, so let's see, potential outcome is Six of Pentacles. Yeah, what's being offered up? What's being handed out with reality? Outside influence is the synchronicity. So what's being handed out with synchronicity? Well, let me go ahead and put the ones above. Growth. Yeah, growth. Potentials for growth doesn't mean you have to take it. Okay, growth. And the foundation of conquest. Okay, so what's being handed out is ability for transformation, prosperity of conquest, if you're willing to look deeper into these things. Or above it, the sorrow, rejuvenation, and growth. Again, you have the synchronicity things. What's being handed out by the universe is what you're focused on. Okay, the mind is very creative. Okay, so what you're focused on are the things that are going to synchronicity come into alignment with what you're doing. If you are focused on negative, and that's where you want your mindset, what you're going to find is more negativity. Okay, you'll continue to find negativity. If that's what your focus is, if that's all you're willing to see, then the mind can create continued negativity. Okay, so what we have underneath of it all, driving it, is the Seven of Wands. What's circling? Again, the energy that's circling of a disruption. Okay, so again, if you are in a negative mindset, you're going to have this circling, this disruption. You're going to have things that you can push against, push back, fight against, because if that's where your mindset is, again, the shadow side of it, that's what's going to continue to create. If you are in the positive, then you're willing to look at things differently. And again, here is the Three of Wands. What's coming in, you'd be willing to review it, look at it, look at what's coming in and how it's coming in. Okay? So we are in the midst of change. There are more and more opportunities coming. More and more energy is coming in. As many of you know, if you are sensitive to energy, big shift comes in and all of a sudden you're just like exhausted. It's like, it's like, oh my Lord, this big shift is coming in. And for those that are in the shadow, the more light that comes in, the more it's going to rock their world. The more that they just, don't want to see, they don't understand the light, they don't want to understand the light, and they're going to continue to rail against the light. Okay? So you can have, and I've talked about this before, you can have a lot of negative experiences in life, seem negative. But the experiences we have, we came in and agreed to before we came in. Now, in my own journey, I'll just go ahead and put it out there again. I went through a lot of abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, okay? Went through numerous rapes in my life. And I'm looking at the universe and going, what was I, some mass rapist? What's going on? Because none of this is fun to deal with, okay? And this wasn't a one-time incident. This was happening over and over and over again, different scenarios. Somebody breaks in my house, I wind up homeless, I get attacked. I mean, just numerous scenarios that happened. Was also like kidnapped, and just so many things. And I'm going, what was I, some rapist? But what came up, I had the lucid thing coming in, and I saw another timeline. And what was going on with it really wasn't a negative in the end. I was a monk in that life. And, these are going on simultaneously. Sometimes you can view what's going on in another life thing if it's going to aid here. And so, I was a monk. I'm a monk in that one, a male monk. And they were talking about doing this ceremony, chod, and I had no idea what that was in this lifetime. I'd never heard of such a thing. But you invite the hungry ghosts to feed on your flesh. And I'm going, yeah. Well, it became very real to me. And I could feel these things actually ripping my flesh, and I went crazy. I went crazy in that lifetime. I couldn't get beyond it to see it as illusion. And it became very real. So in this lifetime, because I couldn't deal with it on that esoteric level, it became more concrete. Hence, going through this rapes and rape and, you know, all of these things that I went through, it's like that type of a thing, being, you know, because there's nothing pleasant about it. You know, it's not a pleasant experience. But I finally saw what it was and was able to break through and go beyond it. But again, you know, we set up for these experiences before we come in for a potential of growth, okay? And not all growth is easy breezy. You don't think just because you're walking a spiritual path, it's going to be like the yellow brick road, and that the God essence is going to be like the big Santa Claus. It's going to give you whatever you want, and it's going to be just easy breezy. It doesn't work that way. So anyway, in this thing, I saw what was going on, okay? And, you know, after that lucid happening of experiencing that other life going on, you know, I had never heard of this before. And I looked it up and saw it's called chod, C-H-O-D, chod. And again, where you invite the hungry ghosts to feed on your flesh. And like I said, at that point in time, I couldn't get beyond to see its illusion, okay, that we are holding to and making it seem concrete, okay? So, since it wasn't dealt with on that more etheric level, it became much more, how do I want to say it? Not grounded, much more, you know, just dealing with it on this level here, third dimension, okay? Yeah. So once I saw what was going on, was able to get past it. Another thing that I saw was part of it was developing compassion, because I saw that the ones that were doing these things were compelled to do it, and they were living in a hell realm. And so that allowed me to develop a compassion. I saw I could get out of it, okay, but I saw that they were in this hell realm of just compelled to do what they're doing, okay? And so that allowed compassion, because I saw, well, I can get out of it. And by replaying these things, having PTSD, which I had very severe PTSD, by replaying these things, I was victimizing myself now. Yes, those events happened, but continuing to replay them is myself victimizing myself. I said, well, wait a minute. I don't, going through it once is enough. I don't need to continue to victimize myself. You know, again, so it's a learning experience. And you can be free of these things, but you have to be willing to dive deep and look into it. You have to be willing to dive deep and see it full-blown for what it is, coming at you full force, and not keep running away from it and continuing to reestablish it. Now, this is something that I don't like with the current field of psychology, because they say, oh, you're right to feel that way. Oh, you poor thing, you've suffered so much. Oh my God. You know, because what you do when you keep going over it and talking about it, reestablishing it, you know, is not beneficial. And yes, I went to for help one time, and if I were you, I would have killed myself by now. Well, that's some big help, isn't it? In other words, they were trying to say you're a strong person if I'd gone through that. And they were like, I don't even know where to begin with you, because I had so many experiences that had been taking place that I had to, you know, to deal with. And they didn't even know where to begin. It was so much happening. But, you know, we have to do the journey ourselves. We have to be willing to stop and look and go to the beginning of it and see. Many times, some of the abuses, again, had nothing to do with us. It had to do with somebody else that's, you know, projecting and using you as a dartboard for their own drama that they have not taken care of, okay? So, again, if you can get to that point that you see that really has nothing to do with you, whatever darts they're throwing, whatever drama they want to put on you, had to do with their own mental illness, if you will, then again, you can step out of that and move forward for your own journey. So that's what I get today about the split that's coming. Some are going to 5D realm, okay, progressing, growing, letting go of past drama, and there are those that want to stay established in it, okay, and they want to continue in this division and angst and anger and, you know, projection, and they can stay in the 3D realm if they wish. So it's about, many are moving now into 5D. We've left that other drama behind and say, you're welcome to it. If you want to stay there, be my guest. But we don't have to live in that. We can see higher perspective, and we can continue to grow in consciousness. So on that note, I'll leave that here. We'll see you online.